All right, so let's talk about focus. Let's talk about focus as a real estate wholesaler. Ooh, right now it is hot in Thailand. I'm going to tell you that your focus is probably the #1 reason why you haven't gotten a real estate deal yet. And it might sound like, I don't believe that. I think I just need to put out more mailers. I need to spend more money on marketing, or I need to find out, what's the best method, the best type of leads I can go after, and that's what's going to get me over the edge. I can for sure tell you that the #1 thing of why you haven't gotten a real estate deal yet is because you aren't focusing directly enough. Now, I'm gonna tell you a secret, and this is one of the biggest secrets that I tell my students in our 7-day REI Jumpstart group coaching program, is that when you can figure out what you have to focus on and then only focus on that, that means everything else that's going on that seems like it seems like a bunch of moving parts in this business, right? It seems like so many things you got to do and learn and have in control, but there isn't a lot of things that you have to do when you're just starting out. That's the myth there. Sometimes you think, okay, I have to get an LLC first. I have to get some business cards first. I have to create my website. I have to go and, you have all of these things in our head at first when we first starting off. I was one of them. We got so many things going on. I need to build a database. I need to, it's all these things that we do, but we're not focusing on the things that can actually produce income and that can actually get us better at the skill. All right? And so when you can focus, for example, let's say you're trying to figure out, oh, if I can get better leads, then I can get deals. Don't focus on that. First, I want you to focus on talking to the real estate sellers, okay? First, I want you to focus on what's the #1 thing that you do when you get that seller on the phone. The only thing that you should be focused on when you get that seller on the phone is getting an appointment, because that's the very next step. The very next step is to get in front of the seller so that you can start to build rapport, to solve their problem, to show that you're the solution. That's the fastest way. All right, the fastest way is for you to get in front of that seller, and that's what's going to get you those things. So only think about your very next step. Don't think about, all of the things that you got to do in order to build the business. You just want to be able to get this first real estate deal, because after that, you're going to be able to tweak everything and figure this thing out and put things in different places and rearrange your whole method on how you're doing it. But right now, to focus on getting your very first deal, you want to keep it simple. You want to keep it so simple that there's nothing else that you have to focus on at all except the very next step. All right? So the first step, of course, is to be able to find which seller leads you want to target. It doesn't matter which type of leads you do. It doesn't matter which type of seller they are. It doesn't matter where you find the leads at. Just focus on, after you say, hey, I'm going to target this seller. And in my opinion, the best way is the path of least resistance, which is to go directly to a seller that already says they want to sell their house. All right, there's no resistance there. They already looking for someone to call them, so you don't have to worry about trying to figure out everything, or whether or not you should call, whether or not they're gonna feel some type of way if you call. All of those beginning things that we usually think about when we first starting off. You don't have to think about that when you're calling a seller who already has their home listed somewhere that says, I want to sell my house. All right, so choose the path of least resistance at first. Once you choose that seller, you want to focus on getting them on the phone. That's the very next step. After you choose which seller you want to go after, then you focus on getting them on the phone. After you get them on the phone, the very next thing you should be focused on is getting in front of them for an appointment, or going into the house to be able to see the house for an appointment. That's the very next step. After you get in front of them for an appointment, what is your next step? What is your only focus when you're in the house with a seller? What's your only focus? All right? So listen, that's what I want to have for you today. Focus is the #1 reason of why you haven't gotten your real estate deal yet. And if you do what I'm saying here, it's going to get you to not only just get your first real estate deal, you're going to be able to recreate this over and over and over, because the steps are simple, right? Everybody knows the steps. I'm sure you do. Even though you haven't gotten your first real estate deal yet, you're like, I know what I'm doing. You just go, you find a seller, you get the seller on the phone, you negotiate the contract, you flip the contract to a buyer, and it's simple, right? It's simple. But when it comes down to doing the task, we focus on everything else but the first step and the next step and the next step. And that's the problem. All right, so hopefully that helped you out. If not, make sure that you join our 7-day REI Jumpstart course. I only have it open for the next 7 days. All right, so if it's closed when you get to the website, then it's closed for now. I'm only accepting 10 people, and you really have to be serious. The 10 people that we're going to accept into this program, you got to be serious. If you're not willing to give 7 days wholeheartedly to be able to make it in this real estate industry, then you're just not as serious as you thought anyway. And so we're looking for people who's super serious. You want to make this happen now, not later. And so I'm going to personally handhold you for the next 7 days inside of our group coaching, going from 0 deals to being able to do real estate deals by the end of the week. No joke. All right, so come with me, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.